Braves country.
Good morning, Braves country. As we got off the schneid, which was the key. Winning the game against the Marlins, avoiding the sweep. 4-game losing streak is no more. We get a big win. It was a big game for Drew Smyly. He only went 5 innings, which once again, we bring these guys out. They're supposed to be innings eaters. Him and Morton both can barely get out of the 5th inning, but at least he only gave up 2 earned runs. We get the W. It was a somber win because even though you got the W, what I didn't like was how we had to struggle to get that W even after being up 5-0. 5-0, 5th inning. You shouldn't have to struggle the way we did down the stretch. We give up 2, make it 5-2 at the bottom of the 5th, and then get one more run at the top of the 6th. And then there was some trouble in the 7th, got out of it. But once again, Minter has been struggling, and he's the one that put the guys on base. And I know that Luke Jackson is the one that was on the mound when the runs crossed the plate, and he's been anything but lockdown. But that's been his entire career. When Minter comes in and he does not perform well, you kind of have to go to the next guy. And Jackson pitched well. Martin and Smith with clean innings. Shane Green looked good. I think you got to start putting Shane Green farther back in the pen as he continues to build himself up. But the story of the day yesterday has to be Austin Riley. He went 3 for 3. He had 3 RBIs, scored 2 runs, and of course, he had the home run in the 3rd inning. NCRT with the home run. How about that in the 6th? That was nuts. You don't expect that. Braves have an off day today, so we're going to make this a really short show. I don't want to get bogged down in everything that is Atlanta Braves when we don't have a day. We don't have a game, but I'll say this for what happened over the weekend. It's just a disaster. And I've laughed at this, and I've laughed at this, and I've laughed at this. I watch it on Twitter quite a bit. People calling for Snicker's head, wanting him fired. And I'm like, he just won Manager of the Year. You're not going to fire him. But I'll tell you what, Saturday night, I was getting to that point where I was starting to drink that Kool-Aid. The problem is it's not even that I'm even defending Snicker. I don't think he's that great of a manager. I think he's overrated as hell. I think he never worries about the game at hand. He's always trying to play for the whole season. And that comes from him stemming from what? He never, until a few years ago, was in a coaching situation where the wins mattered. He was in the minors for decades. He is got this mindset where he's trying to develop young players. I get that. That's great. Then take your ass back to the minors, because we're supposed to have W's up here. When they get to you, they're already supposed to be ready to roll. And you can't keep running every single day with a low leverage mentality. Well, I don't want to bring this guy out. I don't want to bring this guy out. So we're going to bring this guy out. We're going to put this schmuck out here. There's games where the Atlanta Braves have a chance to win. And I think if you had a better manager, a better game manager, I think he does a fine job as far as the day-to-day of developing players. But if you had a better manager, the Atlanta Braves would have at least 5 more wins. And that's what they're at right now. They're 5 games out of first place. They need to come up with metrics. All these metrics they come up with baseball, the WAR, the WHIP, the WOBA. Someone needs to come up with metrics of the WAR for a coach. How many wins does that coach, does that manager, does he equate for just being in that dugout? And I know it would be a difficult thing to maneuver, but they need to come up with that. And I guarantee that's coming, because when you watch a Joe Girardi and the way he moves his team around and keeps a Philly team that I don't think even belongs in the race. He's only 3 games out of first right now. And Snicker, who has a much better roster, even when you take the Marcell Ozuna equation out of it, he does not get the W's. This is even before Ozuna got hurt. I will say one thing about Ozuna I think is being lost in this whole thing. And I know people are upset with Ozuna, and rightfully so. But when you look at the big picture of why the Braves are struggling, I really believe that he was a very important cog in the engine of that dugout. The kids that looked up to him, I think they're still having a hangover effect of not having their friend with them. And a guy that they looked up to, and it's got to be devastating to say, this is who I looked up to. We all get that at some point in our life where we, you never want to meet your heroes, as they say, right? We always get a point in our life where we realize humans are flawed, and you can't just look up to someone regardless, because if you think someone's infallible, you're going to be dead wrong. And I do believe that's got a lot to do with what's going on with the Braves struggles. It's not just the fact that you don't have the pop behind Freddie. It's the fact that this was a rah-rah guy. This was a guy that was very well liked. And I don't know what his personal situation is, so I don't want to overreact, because I don't know what really happened, because I wasn't there. We just have to go off of what the police said. And it doesn't look good. But the point of the matter is the Braves are struggling, and they're struggling in large part to that dugout doesn't feel the same. And the Panda's done a great job of trying to bring him in, but I think Freddie Freeman's got to start being a more vocal leader. And I know that's not really his MO, but he's going to have to be a guy. You never see Freddie get on base, and he never did this and he never did that, because he's a very silent leader. He's a very John Wayne type with a more of a laid back atmosphere. But I think if this team's going to succeed this year, not only they're going to have to make some big moves, there's got to be a big change in that dugout. There's got to be more of a rah-rah. And I think it's got to come from your best player. And your best player is not Ronald Acuna Jr. It will be, but at this point still in his career, Freddie Freeman's coming off the MVP, and you're kind of looking for that from him. Something, even if it's not something we can see, it's got to be something he does in the clubhouse before the game. He's got to get these guys. It's his responsibility. He's the Chipper Jones of this generation. All right, we got to go. We'll see you tomorrow on Braves Country Today. Have a great day, y'all.